Hello everyone and welcome back to Chess Programming Game Design with me. So, as I said in the last video, we are done with the logic part of, programming the logic part of chess. So all of our pieces can move exactly as we want them to move. And now we're just going to be doing basically visual things, so making a menu and things like that. Today's video won't have much to do with that. I'm just going to explain a few things of how you can export this, well, not really export it, but make a build for your Android phone. I did manage to do something for iOS as well, but I'm not sure how iOS works, because with Android you just make an APK and then install the APK, but with iOS something weird happens. I will demonstrate that. But as you can see, I have changed a few things around here. So probably most noticeably, there's this extra button up here, and I've also changed the numbers to letters down here, and these numbers, I made them start at 1, as you would in normal chess. I had them from 0 to 7 previously, as I said before, so that it helps us out to know which position in the list we're looking at. But now, because we're done with that, we're not going to have to deal with it anymore, so we can just look at it this way. Another thing I did was the undo button. I realized that once I made a build for my Android phone, if you go into the text, minimum size was I think 1, but maximum size was 14. And it doesn't look nice. Make maximum size 100. It's just going to scale nicely if you do it that way. Similar thing for this button that we're going to add now. So you can just go ahead and add UI element to main panel. So right click UI button if you don't remember how to do that, and just align it here. So for any elements that we add, don't forget to place the anchors in their correct positions, i.e. in the corners of the element, as you can see here. They don't have to be 100% perfect. There is place for margin for error, so don't worry about that too much. For the text, again, if you remember, we made a bit of padding. I made the text box slightly smaller than the button, as you can see there, and then moved the anchors in. We made the text box smaller so that the text itself looks nicer, and instead of touching the edges of the button, it's kind of inside it, and it looks nicer in my opinion. You don't have to do that. It's again purely visual aesthetic. Yeah, that's the better word to use, isn't it? So okay, so this is what we currently have. Now, before I move on to the build, I want to show you a few things of how to test things. Oh, I guess I can't do it on Windows. Okay, that's fine. So you can go into File, Build Settings, and in here you have various build settings. Now I am mainly going to concentrate on Android. For iOS, as I said, I don't know exactly how it works, but if you want to do switch platform and build this, then just download the thing that it asks you to download, install it. It's 2.2 gigabytes, I believe, and then you can just build straight away. That all works fine. I don't know how to actually install it, as I said. If you make a build on iOS, ignore my calculator, I was doing some calculations. This is what you're going to get. So you're going to get a folder with this kind of stuff inside of it. I don't know how you would install it. If you have an iPhone, you can experiment around with it. I'm not going to go into getting an emulator because, well, I'm not too interested in that for now. I might do it later on. We will see. But for Android, what you do need to do is, well, go on Android, and you probably won't be able to do switch platform straight away. So to be able to switch platform, you will first of all need to go onto this website, and I will provide a download link in the description down below so that you don't have to type this all out manually. But you will need to download and install this. This is the easiest way of doing it. There is another way which is going to save you a bit of storage, but just go with this. Download it, install it, and you're done. Once you've installed it, you are going to need to press build, and it's going to prompt you, or you can also go into edit, preferences, and go into external tools, scroll down, and where you have Android SDK. Now your Android SDK is going to be located in the following place. So you will have it's probably going to be in your C drive, users, your username, in my case it's Mihai, as you can see there. Then you go into AppData Local Android, and you just select this folder, because the selection is for a folder. So if well, I'm not going to go browse, but as you can see, what I have selected is the SDK folder. If you select the SDK folder, it should work fine. If it doesn't like the folder, it's just going to prompt you to assign a different folder again. And just make sure it's this folder. If you're trying to use another folder, well, then it's not going to work. So you're going to just need to remember this location. If it doesn't work, do feel free to ask me in the comments down below. I will try to help you out with that. I was having problems of my own at first as well. So we will see how that works out. And once you do that, you can go back into build settings, switch platform. Once you've switched platform, I would like to show you a few things. So now Unity is configured for Android. This is probably going to be set as free aspect at first, so just as we had it before. But what you can do to see how it would look like on a typical Android phone, such as something like 16 by 9 or 9 by 16, it's just turned around. You can press this small plus button and you can add width and height. So width and height, you can either set a fixed resolution or an aspect ratio. I've done both of them, as you can see here. I've just added extra things. They already have a few preset ones, as you can see above, but I am testing these ones as this is the type of resolution I use. If your phone has a different resolution, feel free to either use these ones or just add your own. It works fine. So what these allow you to do is, well, let's go to 9 by 16. This is something like 1080 by 1920. And, well, it allows you to see what your game would look like at this aspect ratio. So as you can see, even when I resize it up, well, if I resize it down, it is going to get bigger and it gets smaller like that. But it sticks to that aspect ratio. And a phone with that aspect ratio is always going to play the game like this. Now if you go into 1080 by 1920, you can see what it would look like in reality. Well, kind of, anyway. If you make this a similar size, this is what it's going to look like. So why I did this was mainly because I need to find a way to make these buttons slightly more rounded. As you can see, they look a bit too squarish. If we go into free aspect, they look better in my opinion. They're more rounded. So I will need to find a way to fix that, I guess. Again, it's another aesthetic thing. It's not too important, but why not try to fix it if we can? And, well, that was the main thing. For this button that I have added here, this on Android is made to just exit the application. And I will show you how to do that in just a second. So after you've added the button, change the source image color using this. Everything else should be fine. Again, I am going to remind you about the text. Make sure it's aligned the way you want it to. Once again, this is a lot of this is just personal preference. Minimum size, best fit, minimum size, maximum size. And then the script it runs is this one, which I have just added. Okay, resolution doesn't matter. I did make the text slightly bigger. Hopefully this is easier to read. I was getting comments about that, and I just remembered to do it now. If you do want it slightly bigger as well, I am happy to make it bigger for you. Just tell me in the comments down below. This is a font 14 up from font size 10, and I'm using Consolas. I like Consolas because it's a monospace font, meaning every letter has its own preset amount of space it takes up. So 0 and the 1 both take up the same amount of space, which is quite nice. So in Game Manager, what I've done, well, we can actually minimize this now. Yay, so happy. I've added this public void method, which I've just called exit game button handler. And all it does is, well, as you can see, application.quit, that's already a function inside of Unity, which you can just use straight away. Once you have that that method created inside of your game manager class, what you can do is, I'm just going to demonstrate it easily. You press plus. You just need one of these, but I'm doing this for demonstrational purposes. You need it runtime only. You select the object by pressing this little circle button. You go on scene, and you search for main canvas, or you search for whichever element contains your game manager script. In my case, it's called main canvas. And then inside of function, you go into game manager and you look for exit game button handler, as you can see. And once you've done that, you just save your project. I do it with Ctrl S, I prefer that. And you are done with the exit game button. I'm just going to remove this because I don't need two of those exit game button handlers. And now this is ready to be exported. So, well, you can do build settings, Android, switch platform if you haven't done that already, and you press build. And once you press build, well, you just select wherever you want to save it to. I'm just going to save it to my desktop, and it is going to prompt you for a few other things. So as you can see, I do already have it saved here, but it's probably going to prompt you to enter your company name and stuff like that, and to do that you need to press player settings, and you will see a few things up here. So Splash, you have different options. The most important thing for now is to go into other settings. At the very top you will see company name and product name. Give them whatever name you would like. I chose these for pretty obvious reasons, I hope. And then inside of other settings, so you open up other settings, you go into identification, package name, it needs to be in the form of com.your company name, which you've entered up here, dot product name. And then you just click away, click to the side somewhere, and it should be done. Then you press build, and it should just build in about a minute or two. And then with that APK file, you can either email it to yourself and download it on your phone, or what I did, which is probably faster, is connect it with a USB connector cable, and I just transferred the file over into my files. Now, on your Android phone, it's probably going to ask you to change your settings so that it allows not apps which are not deemed safe to be installed, and you just need to press yes. It's probably just going to bring you straight away to the settings of doing that. That's what happened to me anyway, and then just install it. After you install it, the installation is quite quick actually. You can just run your game as any other game. The intro screen will have like a Unity logo on it, don't worry too much about that. We've used Unity, so that is going to be there. I don't think that there's a way of removing it, but it's not too big of a deal. There are other games made in Unity as well. And yeah, that was basically what I wanted to talk about today. In the next lesson, we are going to move on to making a splash screen, and that's basically going to be the menu. And well, I can't think of what else. Oh yeah, we definitely need to work on the game winning, who the winner is, so to make sure that the user knows who's won, because we already have that in our code. We know when somebody's in checkmate that the other person has won. We just need to have something visual for it. And yeah, this video turned out to be longer than I was expecting it to. That's weird. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was informative for you, and now you know how to export this or make a build for your own purposes. There are errors here. It doesn't really matter too much. It should still work fine. So if you've enjoyed this, then please give me a like, share, and subscribe. Do all of that good stuff. It encourages me to make more of this kind of videos. I'm actually getting quite a lot of support right now. Even though I'm not uploading regularly, I've gained so many subscribers. So thank you for sticking around, and thank you for those of you guys who are new. I do appreciate it very much. So until next time, again, thanks so much for watching and goodbye.